From the desk of Headmaster Elvis. To our future student, it is with great pleasure that I'm writing to inform you of your acceptance into the halls of Brackroot Academy. This is likely the first time you've ever heard of our noble academy, and that is not by mistake. Brackroot Academy is a long-established school for adults showing a natural aptitude for the arcane and the unseen. We do not choose students based on applications or standardized tests. Instead, we rely on an ancient gem attuned to the esoteric properties of what laymen might call magic. The stone's origins are unknown, but it reveals students from across the world who possess a connection to the supernatural. Recently, it showed us your image. Should you accept this invitation, you'll have a month to tie up any loose ends. Our academy is a 4-year commitment, offering summer and winter breaks. You'll receive a full scholarship that includes room and board, healthcare, and meals, as well as a small allowance for personal expenses to improve your quality of life. You're also entitled to a domestic pet. While here, you'll refine your sixth sense, gaining access to spells, rituals, enchantments, portals, and many other aspects you likely thought only possible in fiction. Should you wish to hear more, simply open a journal and write, "The path to Brackroot calls to me." If you do that, I'll invite you on a tour so that you can see the grounds and ask questions about what's expected of you. The only requirement is that you keep Brackroot Academy a secret. We can help you establish a cover story, along with more complicated paperwork. We so hope to hear from you. May the clouds part at your whim. Dr. Emerson Elvis, any pronouns. Headmaster, Brackroot Academy. Sitting Chair, Foundation for the Recondite Arcane.
Welcome. This is going to be a very special and probably interesting
We'll see.
edition of Playing with Myself or Ourselves. I don't know if we want
Yeah. Hashtag playing with ourselves. We're doing a special 2-person solo series.
And this is Tangled Blessings by Cassie Mothwin. I did find it. I was looking up solo RPGs to kind of do myself, since we've all been doing this, or looking into doing solo things ourselves or with other people or what have you. And I kind of wanted to do a horror themed one. And when I looked up horror solo journaling RPGs, this was one of the first ones that happened to pop up. And so happened to pop up the last day of the crowdfunder, which I do regret I missed by like 30 minutes.
Yeah. Just at the end, that's when we found it.
But Tangled Blessings is a dark
academia.
Yeah, dark magic academia role-playing game that you can do with one person or two, and it takes you through a 4-year curriculum in a magic academy. And if you're playing by yourself, you are playing yourself and your rival. But in this case, I have recruited Jess to be my rival.
Yeah, let's tell this backstory a little bit more, Kent. So, like Kent was saying, most of us here at DMs After Dark have been like looking into maybe doing some solo role playing. And when this first came about and Rainey started his Playing with Myself series, I was like, I'm never going to play one of these solo role playing games. No offense to them. They look great. I was just like, I literally just can't imagine playing a solo series by myself. And like, I like to play with large groups. And I was like, I told myself, I was determined. I was like, I'm not playing any of these solo series. Awesome job, the rest of you. I commend you. And then Kent goes, I found this Tangled Blessings game. And I was like, oh, cool. That's awesome, Kent. And he's like, it's a game about rivals. I'm like, damn it. I'm like, damn it. Now I have to play. Because I don't think anyone knows this. But years and years ago, Kent and I are very old friends. But years and years ago, I declared Kent a rival in my life. He is my arch nemesis in life.
And I have no idea why, and every time I ask, she's just like, because you get in my way.
He literally, so I didn't tell anyone this. I just kind of decided, and then I changed him in my phone to Nemesis Red. Just because, for those of you who play Pokemon or know old school Pokemon, I think like in the original Pokemon series, it wasn't like Ash and Gary, right? It was like Blue versus Red.
Red
and Red was the Nemesis, right?
No, Blue was the Nemesis.
What? Oh, so I even got it wrong. I thought Red was the Nemesis, so I was like, Kent's my Nemesis.
See, that just admits that I'm player 1 and you're player 2, and you're jealous.
See, this is why you're my Nemesis. You say stuff like this, and it makes me want to fight you.
I have to live up to that expectation of being a nemesis for you, Jess.
I was going to say, and Kent's been doing an excellent job. When he found out, when our group found out that he was in my photos Nemesis Red, and he found out that he was my nemesis, he was like, I'm gonna buy into this. He was like, okay. And before, Kent was just kind of inconveniently in my way at opportune times. But now he makes it a point to be in my way at opportune times.
When I see the need to be a nemesis, I step up and go like, you wanted me to be this way. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's true. I built my own house of cards. But it's a friendly rivalry. We have a long, good friendship. And here we are. We're going to play this game.
Yep. So back to Tangled Blessings. It is, like we said, it's a dark magic academia game.
Yes.
It was actually heavily based off of Amnesis, which Rainey recently played not too long ago.
Yep.
Depending on when you're listening to this. Because I think since then has gone through 2 other games since he played Amnesis.
Was Amnesis?
He just did a one-shot.
Amnesis was post-Colossal. Yeah.
Yep, it was right after Colossal. So he actually played a few other games, and he's going through, currently, as we're recording this, he's going through Miru 1 and 2.
Yes, yeah, he just finished Mirror 1 and he's on Mirror 2 now. Yeah, so if you haven't checked it out already, check out Rainey's other Playing With Myself series. Yeah.
They've all been really great. So playing through this game, it is a horror games, and we don't know everything that's going to pop up because we've done like a brief read through of like the introduction of the game, but we don't know any of like the prompts that are going to come up later. So there are some horror elements that might surprise us. Mm-hmm. And there is a list in the book of content warnings that could possibly pop up. I'm just going to read that entire content warning list. This is a horror game that exposes the harmful areas of academia. You will find themes like dark magic, rituals, claustrophobia, murder, death, violence, depression, suicidal thoughts and ideations, isolation, and self-harm. Any of those may pop up at some point. We're not sure when. We're kind of planning to make this a 6-session thing, because the one thing with this is the story begins at the end of our journey. The end of our journey is a final exam between the character and the rival, or the 2 characters, however you're playing it. And it is to see who is basically the valedictorian of this.
The best of the best.
The best of the best. And the thing is, between you and your rival, you're both kind of the best. You're both prodigies. You're both vying one way or another to take that lead spot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So.
And we're hoping that this episode kind of serves as our session 0 to kind of set up the game. And then I think the plan is that as we're kind of playing the game, that we're going to go through each year of our curriculum of school, and then end with a final battle of who's the best.
So it's and I was actually like rereading the book earlier, and it actually is like you're starting, it's like, this is the final day. You start, it's like, this is the final day, and then playing through the years is you reminiscing over your 4 years at the school and what you've done and what you've...
Oh, stop. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. I didn't realize it was this callback.
Yeah, it's all like recall.
Gotcha.
Based thing. Or if you want, if you want to play it, pick it up. I do recommend it. The game does look amazing to play, and since I saw really want to play this. And that was back in like April, I think.
Yeah. We've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things about this game is that it involves a tarot deck. It involves a tarot deck. I don't exactly necessarily know how. I think it mostly uses for inspiration as like a guidance for structure. This isn't a game where there is like dice rolls, or we don't draw a tarot deck to kind of figure out success and wins. I think it's more of a creative, collaborative storytelling type of game, right?
Yep.
Which I don't actually necessarily know how the outcome comes out.
So I was looking at that again myself today. Like I just kind of glanced over it, and what we'll be doing is over the course of the 4 years of the school, which the 4 years, it breaks it down to each year is its own suit of the tarot deck. Like the first year is going to be the wands.
Okay.
So we'll be drawing cards from the deck of wands, or the suit of wands.
Mm-hmm.
And each card that we draw is a prompt in the story, in our character's story.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And then we'll, like, after we're done that year, reminiscing, going through, finding what happened during that year, we're going to put those cards aside. And that's actually going to be part 1 of the final exam.
Oh, that's fair, right? After our 4 years, we use the final deck in our rival battle. And that's going to be what actually really determines success or failure of who's the best.
And it's each character will have 4 decks at the end, 1 for each year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And each year breaks down to something that happens during the final exam. So the first part of the final exam is us doing spells and rituals, I believe, is the first part of the final exam.
Okay. Clearly, Kent understands the structure of this game more than I do. I have read through this thing twice, and this is not on the game. This is just me, Jess, who I'm a very slow reader of RPGs and comprehending what is going on with an RPG. So
the 4 parts of the final exam that pit in this case, 2 characters against each other are spells and curses using the deck of wands that we make for ourselves.
Oh, cool.
Part 2 is potions and tonics using the deck of cups.
Makes sense.
Part 3 is rituals using the deck of pentacles.
That perfectly makes sense. Okay.
And actually, the way that it works is
swords.
The last one is the deck of swords, and that is a duel against your rival.
Ah, this all makes perfect sense. Okay. How very befitting.
And I think we should go throughout, like when we get to the final exam, we should go throughout all 4.
Yeah, recount our history of how we got here.
And kind of play that out. And like the way that it goes normally in the thing is it's a best of 3. So if you win like 3 out of the 4, you are the number 1 student of the school. And like the fourth part is optional, which I think it would be best to just do all 4 and to have a duel against the rivals.
Yeah. It's all about the story. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm for it.
But we will get to that later. Now we are kind of working on our characters.
Character creation, yes.
Both have a name in mind so far.
Yep. The quick thing that I did want to highlight is that today we are using, and I don't know yet if we're going to use it throughout the whole thing. I probably will, but we are using the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck by Matt Hughes. Just wanted to shout out to him. We are using his beautifully artistic tarot deck as kind of inspiration as well for our game.
Yes, and it was one of the several decks that neither of us own a tarot deck, but we have a friend who owns several.
Many, yes.
And we were like, hey, Parr, we need a tarot deck for this game that'll give us inspiration. And she was like, here, look at these 7.
7, yeah. I was going to say, honestly, Parr kind of has a tarot deck problem the way you have a dice problem.
And it's not a problem unless it causes issues.
I think she has as many as you do. It's kind of crazy.
I do have a lot of dice, though.
You do. A residential dice goblin. Okay, so sorry, going back to character creation. We have a name, like Kent was saying.
Yep.
Yeah, how should we introduce our characters, or how should we develop them?
So I think we should do each question kind of like we each do the first question and then move on to the second.
Yeah, sure. Perfect. Start here. Answer these questions. 1, what is your name and what are your pronouns?
So I guess I'll start. My character's name is Elias Parker, using the pronouns he, him.
Nice. My character's name is Angelica Thompson. She is a she, her.
Yeah, I think that first question, super easy, super basic.
I mean, it's easy now. It took me like 3 weeks to come up with the name.
That's usually my problem, Jess.
Yeah. We've been thinking about names for so long. Question 2. How did you receive the letter from the headmaster?
So yeah, how did you receive your letter from the headmaster, Jess?
Oh no, I'm starting. Okay, I thought you were going to start. Wait, no, I wanted to see yours so I could see how lame or unlame I was.
Oh nope. I have a good idea, and I want to.
No, the rivalry has not started, Kent. You can't outshine me in character creation.
Oh, okay. I had a really good idea. I'm just saying.
Okay,
so
well, then you go first, okay. And then I can maybe probably keep mine the same. But
so Elias, he is a 23-year-old dude. He's completed college, no particular major or whatnot, just like general studies. Is doing just like the general thing that people do these days, and he's actually rewatching a old TV show. And he's kind of got it on the background as he's doing some stuff at home. And he looks up to see his favorite part, only to see something on the screen that he's never seen before. So he pauses the show to read this letter that we read earlier about the headmaster. And he's just like taken aback and like, what's this? He just kind of like scoffs it off. Oh, what's this prank? And didn't pay too much mind of it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He actually like puts it off, but it was like always in the back of his head that like, and he ended up looking it up online, trying to be like, oh, hey, did anyone see this weird thing that happened during the middle of the show? And like, he got like no answers, and he ended up pushing the thought of it kind of off and further down the line. But that is how he received his letter from the headmaster.
Okay. It's not. I think so. My girl, she's probably like 25, 26. She's actually in grad school or in between kind of grad school right now. And I was thinking that she was kind of just taking a break one day, strolling along the beach when she receives a message in a bottle. That is what I'm going with. The old school, like message in a bottle, kind of floating from the ocean side. The wave just kind of brings it in, uncorks it, and strangely enough, it is addressed directly to her, which is very weird. She also probably holds on to it for a little bit and tries to think it over.
And I do think that'll kind of go into the next question of what loose ends did you have to tie up?
Yes.
Because Elias, as a person, like he received this, and by I say received, he read this letter in the middle of his favorite TV show that he was rewatching, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like to him, it was just like a glitch, but like the thoughts of magic, and you are right, it was addressed to him.
Yeah, right. That's so weird. Like you're in the middle of a show and it's just like talking directly to you.
Mm-hmm. And he just like pushed it off as a prank. Like,
did I just imagine this? Like,
yeah, like, oh, was it just one of my buddies who's not fessed up to it yet? Like, who like streamed something straight to my TV, so on and so forth. And for the longest time, for like almost the entire month, he kind of pushed it off. And then one day he was just like, oh, like, why not? Why not try this thing? Cause like in his everyday life, like magic has always been just like the thing of movies, the thing of TV shows, the thing of just fiction. But his curiosity got the better of him one day, and he pulled out just like a pocket notebook and ended up scrawling the path to Blackroot Academy calls to me.
Ooh.
And
so he did it.
He did do it, and it was like that was the sentence, right?
Yes, yeah. Just open a journal and write
the path to Blackroot calls to me. Yep.
To be invited onto a tour
Of the school, yeah. And so he goes and he just writes that in like a little pocket notebook, like the night of like what would be like the final day. And he was like, whatever, let's just get this over with so I can kind of push it out of my mind. And
this
right
isn't gonna work.
Yeah,
He's probably like, I'm so stupid. Why am I even doing this? Writing in a journal. What the hell? I'll burn it afterwards. It's fine.
And like he actually like writes it down and gives it a minute, and like nothing seems to happen. So he was like, I know it was just a waste of time. And then he rips the paper out and just like tosses it. And when he tosses it and it hits the ground, like then it kind of like, it's just like a poof of smoke, and there's a door. There's a door that's just standing there. That's just says entrance to Brackroot Academy.
Mm-hmm.
So he obviously dumbfounded and in utter shock, but still curious, goes and opens the door, and on the other side is greeted by the headmaster.
Headmaster Elvis. Nice. I love it.
As for his loose ends, like I don't think he actually had much loose ends to tie up. Like 20-something years old,
fresh out of college,
just kind of living his life. Probably had just like a remote job at the time, and just be like, it's like, nope, I'm done, I'm good.
What about his family? Does he have a family? Is he like an orphan?
He does have a family. He is
because like he's about to disappear for like 4 or 5 months, I think. I mean, maybe he'll have a phone or something. I mean, yeah, it's not like this is on another plane. We're in modern day world.
Yeah.
This academy is presumably somewhere else.
Him and his family, they're friendly, but they don't quite talk the most often. So just kind of like having no contact for a while is not surprising. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So for me, 3, what loose ends did you have to tie up? So this was kind of my question before, because I don't know if this is kind of meta or not. I don't know how much I should tell you about my character beforehand, but I'll just say it anyways. It should be fine. We're both good about playing not meta.
Keep it.
But yeah, I already said my girl, she is kind of in grad school. She's like 25, 26. So she's a little bit older. She probably doesn't close out grad school right away, right? She probably goes on the tour, checks it out, see what it's about. And she actually has a friend who currently is very, very sick. Basically, her friend has cancer. And she is interested in learning about magic in order to kind of stop that. So close up loose ends. Yeah, she is, I don't know if it's noble. She doesn't want to lose her best friend. She'll do whatever it takes kind of thing. So
yeah, I mean,
I would not label her as noble. I would label her as she loves her friend and she's desperate.
Yeah,
it sounds noble, but I would not label my girl as noble. No. Yeah. She's a little bit mad scientist-y. Yeah, but she has her family. She's who is very, very concerned about her kind of dropping out of grad school and being like, hey, I'm about to scoot off for like, don't worry if you don't hear from me for like, a couple months. I'm about to scoot off. I'm dropping out of school. Or maybe she'll tell them that she is still in school, but she'll probably close out. Maybe she won't tell them that she's dropping out of school. She'll probably tell them that she's still in school, and she'll probably, drop out of school for now or take a pause gap a few years and see if she returns. Going to be moving and stuff, so she's got to close out her apartment. Saying goodbye, having kind of her last nights in the town and city that she's in, and moving up. I'm trying to think more about her. I feel like because I did this message in a bottle thing, I feel like she's kind of somewhere coastal. Maybe like still on the East Coast, maybe like Carolinas in America, like Carolinas or Virginia situation. Somewhere near the coast on a school over there.
Oh, sounds good.
Yeah. I kind of jumped ahead a little bit because question 4 is, what do you hope to gain by becoming a mage? And I kind of described it a little bit that she wants to use her magic to figure out how to save her friend. And if that's possible. Yeah.
Or if to not just like to actually like use the magic to actually find a way, whether it is possible or not.
Exactly. Exactly.
As for Elias, what does he hope to gain by becoming a mage? like I said, until that door poofed out of nowhere, he didn't even believe that he just believed it was a thing of fiction, thing of movies and TV shows and books. So stepping through that door to take that tour kind of sparked a childish wonder back into him. It went from
anything is possible now.
Anything is possible now. Like,
you have magic.
Why wouldn't you want to become a mage? Like, if you had the offering, like right now, if you got a letter and could make that decision, even if it took you some time, like.
I honestly don't know. I'm such a scaredy cat. I don't actually know.
Even if you were given, like, even if it was just the choice, like you were given the option, like being like, hey.
I'd be afraid it was a trick.
You'd be afraid it was a trick?
If this was me modern day, I'd be so, like, our world is kind of shitty, but like, I kind of would be afraid that it would be a trick if this was like just me in real life. No,
that is true. That is true.
But this is why we tell stories and play games.
That is very true. We try to escape the mundane reality.
Of reality.
Mm-hmm. Instead, we're going to go to the horrors of a magical world.
Somehow less horrifying, yes. Okay, so was that kind of your answer for the wonder of
the wonder of becoming a mage, like the actual realization that magic is real, and he could become a magician, like not a magician, but a mage, like a wizard.
Dude, I'm gonna crush
whatever. You. But by inspiration, like you already have him be like he's just like that. He's kind of like regressed to that childhood wonder of, oh my God, this is so much fun. This is going to be great.
So cool. Yeah. Yeah.
So question number 5 is, how did the speaking gem talk to you in your dreams? Oh, so that is a very good thing. We did not bring up the speaking gem at all yet.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
So the speaking gem is the core of Brackroot Academy. It was there long before Brackroot Academy was even a place, even a village, even anything. Like, it was just this thing that would call out to people who had the potential to wield magic. And way back in the day, like, it would call to people and people would like not even make it to there because traveling back then was just so hard, and
I don't have the tools and the skills and things like that we have now. Yep.
It'd be like, even if like they were across the sea, they would be like a 2-month journey, and then like trying to figure out where this thing is in the middle of a land that they don't know, stuff like that. Like, most people would not make it to them. But eventually people did make it to the speaking gem, and it awoke their
magical essence
and being to control and take hold of this power. So the speaking gem is what finds new mages, and it calls out to people, adults in their early 20s usually, for them to come and join this academy to find it, to see what they could become.
Mm-hmm.
So
it never really talks about this, but I kind of like the idea of the speaking gem always there throughout the entire life of someone who has magic potential. I know that our image just kind of showed up just recently into the speaking gem. That's one of the reasons why we got the letter. Mm-hmm. But I like the idea of having these dreams kind of sporadically throughout your entire life.
And there's actually something that we're going to be answering a little bit later on that also kind of can play into that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we jump to specialty actually after question 5, because I did have a question for you.
Yes. So question 5, how did the speaking gem talk to you in your dreams? I think for Elias, once he read that letter, he started having dreams of magic, like constantly every night, which kept this whole thing in the back of his head, like ever present, just there. And it was the last dream he had was one that kind of made him go and write that phrase in that notebook to be like, all right, if this isn't real, like these dreams are constant, ever present. Like, he's thinking about them in vivid details in his actual like waking life. But the speaking gem kind of like brought forth dreams of magic, like different types of magic, like all sorts of different things that could be done, and like each night would be like a different type of thing.
I was going to say, have you ever heard of waking dreams? I know of some friends who have had waking dreams, and I've never had one, but it's like where you're in a dream and you're conscious that you're in a dream and you're able to like manipulate the dream.
Oh yeah, the lucid dreaming.
Yeah, right. I've never had one. I feel like it's very cool and very fortunate. My friend used to describe to me all these cool things she used to do in her dreams, and I'd be like, "What the heck?" My mind doesn't let me do that, but that's what I'm kind of imagining.
Yeah,
what you're describing. You know,
that would be very, very good. Like, nice idea where it's just like you're not just dreaming, but the gem is there, and
it's like you have magic in that reality of your dream.
It awakens you to, like, it's like you're in a dream, but like you can do all these fantastical things.
Yeah.
And it's like, you should do this tonight.
Mm-hmm. I actually imagine mine a lot more subtler. Just because, like, as we're talking through it, I'm kind of thinking about my character more, and I have this idea for her specialty that maybe I'll go back to it. I think it's almost kind of influenced from your opening letter, but I think for her dreams, the way the speaking gem kind of talked to her, it was a lot more subtle in that she's very good at noticing patterns. Mm-hmm. She's very good at like reading, understanding, and noticing patterns. So I imagine that like in her dreams, she started having these dreams about certain patterns or like geometric shapes or certain like just like lines and string theory and things like that. And then she started to see them when she woke up in like random things, right? In the way like leaves fell on a tree, or just like noticing these patterns repeat themselves from her dreams and then into reality. That's, I think, how she kind of saw it and how it kind of spoke to her. But nothing substantial that was really malleable to her. Just almost like things she noticed but never really paid too much more thought to, other than like, that's weird. You know?
Yeah.
Throughout the years.
And that will be a nice segue to the specialty, which the specialty, we get to choose a specialty. And I'm going to read this entire block because it is nice and it is more eloquent than what I can ever be. So we get to choose a specialty. Choose an area of intuition or skill where you always shine. Maybe you've never had a problem with pointing out poisonous plants. Maybe you can predict the words and melody to a song on the very first listen. Maybe you've always felt like you wish someone good luck and they actually do have better fortune. Maybe you've always found it easy to persuade a salesperson into giving you a discount. Maybe you always manage to buy the last item in stock. Maybe you're fantastic at painting portraits, even though you've never taken an art class. Or maybe you've just never been sick. Essentially, this is how magic manifests around you in the mundane world. You shape something without knowing.
Do you have an idea for this? I have an idea, but I don't want to steal it if it's yours.
Nope. Go ahead. I haven't had an idea yet for this.
My character is kind of coming to me, and it's funny to me because what I'm choosing for my specialty is almost like you in real life, Kent. But what I'm thinking for her specialty is I'm going to have her like super good at technology. I'm actually imagining her as like kind of a coder. I think she was actually in grad school for coding. And she's really good at like computer language and coding, and all of these patterns and things like that kind of help build to her, and they kind of speak to her, and she can like write these computer languages and software. And I think throughout her life, she's just always been good at technology. Like for some reason, it just kind of is attuned to her, or like kind of speaks to her. And like things that other people have problems with on their cell phone or like on their computers, she can just kind of like get it to work in a flash. And whether or not it's just like knowledge that she's built from computers, or for some reason computers just kind of like she can see through them better, or they speak clearer to her. And that's what I think I'm gonna do.
Yeah, that's a good one. When you started, I was thinking about something of inspiration, like taking something for myself that I'm actually decently good at, in the fact that like for whatever reason, directions for me, I can always go in the right direction.
Yeah, Kent is our home group's residential ranger. Anytime we're like hiking out in the woods or need to go somewhere, Kent's the one who's in charge.
Like for whatever reason, like I myself, I know it's like, oh yeah, we parked in this big ass parking lot. I may not be driving, but like everyone else is lost, and I'm like, guys, that's right over there. Like, just follow me.
Yep. This is the way to go.
I actually do want to use that. Like his specialty is just like he always Elias always knows what direction that he needs to go in.
Shit. I like it.
So, and it may not just be like, it's like, oh yeah, he always knows where north is. No, it's not quite that. It's just
always knows how to find something, right? Like McDonald's is this way.
Yeah. Like he always kind of knows the direction to go into. Like, to take another example, or to give it an example, it'd be like, oh yeah, we got to go to this restaurant over here, and it's like 2 blocks this way, 1 block that way, and he can be like, oh no, we can just go like this way, and it's like half a block shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of something like that.
Are you going to reserve it to kind of just directional distance, or are you going to do maybe like either kind of more worldly direction too? Like if someone were to come up to you and be like, do I want Italian or do I want Japanese? And you're like, you want Japanese. Which I say worldly, and that was like the plainest example ever. Yes. It wasn't like, should I become a doctor or should I become a police officer?
I think it wouldn't work. Like his knowing direction wouldn't work for other people, but it would work for himself.
Makes sense. Okay.
I'm putting you down as you're a technomancer.
Yes. Oh, that's such a great name for it. A technomancer. Yes.
Yep.
Except she just doesn't. But like, yes.
Yeah. So it's like it's very much the
coding. She's magic on a keyboard.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of. That's kind of along the lines of what I'm going with.
But yeah, you're more of the not like the talk to explicitly to electronics. You're more of the I can understand and fix the issue.
Yes. I mean, I also like the idea of like she's just like electronics just have like a liking to her that like her cell phone never drops. Like she always has, Wi-Fi or whatever,
And I think the one cool thing with the prompt, like we said, I wanted to keep this game as much of a surprise to ourselves as it is to everyone else. So like we both read none of the prompts, so we have no idea what these prompts are going to be. And I think I even did some listens to some actual plays of this, but I only listened to the character stuff because I did not want to listen to any of the prompts, so I can to like glean off their own ideas,
Right. Stay kind of fresh.
But I think
we have one part left, right? Just the house?
We have one part left, and that is determining the house that our characters are going to be in.
Oh, I have the tarot cards for this. What did I do with them?
The way that we do this is that there are 5 houses in Blackroot Academy. There are the House of Celestials, the House of Dahlias, the House of Panthers, the House of Spires, and the House of Elements. And we're going to be pulling one of the major arcana cards, 1 through 5, out from the tarot deck. We're going to just remove those cards and pull one of those cards. One of us is going to pull first. I will say Jess can pull first because she actually has the deck for herself. So her character can pull to determine their house first.
I totally just dropped half the deck while I was attempting to pull a card in a cool way. I'm cool though. I got it. All right. I have pulled my house, and I got 1.
1. The House of Celestials.
Oh my god, my name is Angelica, and I'm in the House of Celestials. This is too ironic.
Yes, it's weird. Like, say what you want about tarot and whatnot. Like sometimes sometimes it can get it gets scarily
spooky. I know. Yeah. It's true. Let's see. The House of Celestials. The skies borrow from the elements to paint a background for life. A backdrop. Wow, I can't read. A backdrop for life featuring iconography of the sun, moon, and constellations. Celestials are known for their inner glow. Ooh, I did not imagine a girl with inner glow. Okay. Still, they do not shy away from the dark surrounding them, as they understand that all things require balance. Okay. Students in this house often carry one or more of these marks: discipline, passion, or indifference. This dorm overlooks the lake. Okay, I can do this. Nice.
So the one thing that is said is when we determine the houses, like our characters actually, like we go to the speaking gem and it shows us what house we're supposed to be in by it'll show us an image in like our mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, determining your house, I'm going to read this little paragraph here.
Okay.
Determine your house assignments. The houses are not enemies and require each other to operate in harmony. Despite this, conflict does arise, sometimes with violent ends. Students learn their houses by touching the speaking gem and sharing aloud the symbol it shows them. It is possible to lie about what you see, but the speaking gem always knows. Now, you can also, when you're playing this game, you can, if you don't believe that your house aligns with your character, you can always redraw, and it's fine. It's however you want to play. You know, if you want to, instead of being in the House of Celestials, maybe you want to be in the House of Dahlias or whatever. And one thing that is nice about this game, it does have a map of the campus grounds, and each of the houses are kind of in their own areas, except for the House of Spires and the House of Elements. They are located in the actual Brackroot Academy.
Ooh.
The House of Celestials is a little bit a ways from the Academy.
I mean, because clearly we're better than everyone else.
And they are next to the Whispering Lake.
I also really like our crest. Our crest looks really cool.
Oh yeah, the each house, of course, has their own crest. This one is a crescent moon with one singular star. Yep.
The Dahlias one also looks really sick. That one probably looks the most sick.
Or there's I was looking at the little symbol next to each paragraph.
Oh yes.
The actual crest is would that be the different phases of the moon at the bottom?
Yeah, I think
with
so. I think that's what
the crescent in the
Yep, I think it's
star.
a waning and waxing transitioned moon.
Yeah, and then it's like a starry night on one side of the shield, the crescent moon in the middle of the shield, and like this, what would be like the rays of the sun on the other side of the shield.
That's really cool.
But if you feel that your character doesn't fit your house, you can always change the house. Or if you want to stay in that house, you can always kind of like rebel against what their
that's a good point
thing
too.
is. Yeah,
I'm gonna stick with it. I do like it a lot.
I do believe that the House of Celestials does seem to fit Angelica as she is now. And that is very apt for, I believe, how you want your character to kind of go.
Yeah. And I'm for sure one of those people who likes to pick things that fit and suit kind of the character that I have in mind. I feel like, Kent, sometimes you do this, but I feel like for the most part, you're more of you like random generated things and see what you can build from there. I'm like the opposite. I'm like, I need to start with a character and then fit everything in.
The way that I used to make my old characters is I would always make like a blank slate type of character, and then kind of as we played, and this mostly worked in our home games. This doesn't quite work in like what we're playing RuneQuest, and like RuneQuest had a lot of random background generators for your character anyway, which really helped me. But like in our home games, I would always create a blank slate and then build their background off the world, like obviously okaying it with our DM and whatnot and making sure it was okay. But that's kind of how I always built characters, was I just let it roll.
And see what comes to you with the story.
That
makes sense. All right, Kent, you ready to choose your house?
Yes. You put
I put it back
one?
in, yep.
Okay. Because we can be in the same house or separate houses. So once we draw a card for our house, we shuffle it back into the deck and whatnot. Obviously, I don't have the deck. Jess is just holding up the cards to the camera.
Yep.
So I will take the second from the left.
Second from the left. Number 2.
Number 2. That is the House of the Dahlias. House of Dahlias.
Aw, dude, you got the really cool crest. Damn it.
Dahlias rely on the energy of celestial bodies for growth and endurance.
You rely on me.
As a vibrant flower, dahlias are a symbol of elegance and devotion. The plant may be abundant, but it requires careful nurturing in the wet and cold climate of Brackroot. Students in this house often carry one or more of these marks: creativity, perfectionism, or obsessiveness. This dorm is connected to the greenhouse.
Is this something you want to keep? Because I feel like when I read this, I'm like, wow, this is a lot of my characters.
So yeah, that is very true. Like I don't have
creativity.
I don't quite have an idea in mind just yet of his full personality and whatnot, but I will stick with the House of Dahlias.
Oh, okay.
Not only do I believe, because he is kind of like, I actually am kind of like making a character like I used to. Like he's kind of like a blank slate, and I'm using the world around it to kind of, and the world is even going into it like he's acting like a blank slate, like that excited kid. He has no direction, but being put into this house, like he's given
almost an expectation.
Not even an expectation, but like a thing to focus his mind and whatnot into a thing that requires his attention. Which would be like, because the dorm is connected to the greenhouse, so the House of Dahlias probably, takes care of the flowers and all that stuff in there for whatever potions and ingredients and materials that we need of that sort. So I think it's a very, I want to say the word indicative, but I don't think that's correct, but I'm going to use it anyway, thing for his character of being like he had no direction. Now the speaking gem has given him a direction for being at the school. I'm just writing this down.
Okay. And with that, I think our characters are complete.
That is the end of a character creation for this. Like we normally in a game, you would do your house, you would make your rival, you would choose your rival's house. You would, if you don't have an idea for your rival, there's actually a list that you would draw from the major arcana cards.
Yeah. So if you were doing this as a solo play, which I think this was created mostly as like a solo play.
Yep.
Like Kent was saying, you can draw kind of the type of rival that you will have. That's kind of the last thing that we won't be doing because we are playing the 2-player version with each other. And it seems your house relies on mine. So clearly mine is already better. Your first sentence is the Dahlias rely on the energy of celestial bodies, for which I am a house of celestial and a body in the house of celestials. I'm going to take that as a Trump win right there.
Yeah. Let's see. I believe, yep, this is the end of our first session, which is kind of character creation and talking a little bit about the game.
The world and stuff.
And the world and stuff. I believe we may have missed a few things here and there.
Oh no, did we?
We may have, but unfortunately my ADHD is kind of like not letting me remember it,
That's okay. We'll pick it up once we're actually playing it too.
Yeah. So our next session we'll be starting or you know what, we'll end it with this. We've created our characters and play begins with the beginning of our final exam. We are standing amongst a crowd of people in the academy, in an arena of sorts. And the crowds are kind of surrounding us and watching us and seeing how we are going to be doing. And we are standing across from each other, and we are getting ready for our first task, which will be spells and curses. But as we are getting ready, we start to reminisce about our years at this academy and how far we've come and what we've done across these first years. We had a lot to learn. We had days filled with discovery and wonder. We'll continue with that next time we play, and we will start with our first year and see what happened with both of our characters in Tangled Blessings.